Hello there.
Oh, what an intro. General Kenobi.
I had to do it at some point.
All right. Well, welcome to episode 4 of Big Deal Breaks. I've entitled this one, A New Quote.
What's the quote?
Well, because we're going to talk about quotes today. And we are also looking at the next series in this set of 2017 40th Anniversary Topps Star Wars Edition. And we will talk at the end about something also that it's a surprise, but we'll talk about that. Strap in, because this is going to be not a longish episode, but we're talking about all things A New Hope. And so episode 4 of Big Deal Breaks is also talking about episode...
I thought...
This is episode 4.
Only? I thought it
yeah. Well, we had the Mail Day episode, but that didn't count.
Yeah.
That was like one of these, okay? The spin-off little things. So these are the next cards in this. Now, they're not the next cards. The next cards in this series were what?
The Clone Wars.
Clone Wars and Rebels.
Yes, I've watched all Rebels. I'm trying to watch, because I've seen Clone Wars. I know certain things that I've just forgotten about.
So we're going to do some show prep. Now, we didn't do any show prep for these, because I have never seen either one of these. Now, I remember this cartoon, Ewoks, and it looks like something I probably even wouldn't have watched as a kid. This, however, it was called Star Wars Droids, and it came out September 7th, 1985, and it was a 30, I can't remember how many episodes of it there were, but I watched the theme song for it. I couldn't even make it through the theme song. So if you get a chance, look up Star Wars Droids, watch the first thing that pops up video-wise.
They're making because they announced a bunch of shows, and there's one called Droid Tales, so I'm interested to see what that... I don't know if it's like...
Bad Batch might be about... Well, it would be more about
That's spin-off of Clone Wars.
Yes. So, yeah, watch the theme song for Droids, and you'll be like, I can't watch the rest of this. If you like it, I'm sorry. It just didn't look like anything I was interested in. Now that we have bandied about for 2.5 minutes, it's time to get down to brass tacks and talk about the next movie, the first movie that ever came out in the Star Wars series, and that was...
A New Hope?
A New Hope. And we're going to talk about A New Hope and the cards that for A New Hope, kind of go through some of the more major scenes, and we'll also talk about some of the scenes that aren't in the cards, and some of our favorite
that are
parts.
Similar in other films.
We watch Star Wars almost daily. Right? At night, we sit down, we watch a Star Wars movie.
Which one were we watching last night?
Last night we were watching Attack of the Clones because...
of the romance.
Of the romance, because it was Valentine's Day. So the whole family sat down and watched Attack of the Clones. It's the only real movie I could think of that would, like, Star Wars movie that would have, like, Valentine's Day themes.
Empire Strikes Back.
Okay.
Han and Leia.
Han and Leia, but not as much as Anakin and
Anakin and Padme was like...
Anyway, the people aren't here for Attack of the Clones. We're here for A New Hope. And so the first card that pops up is this one. And it is called The Opening of Star Wars, and that is when that huge Star Destroyer is overtaking Leia's ship known as
Tantive 4.
The Tantive 4, and that is when Darth Vader comes in. Well, I would say guns blazing, but he doesn't have a gun in his hand. He's got a lightsaber in his hand.
Lightsaber's blazing.
And he is deflecting bullets, and he is throwing stuff all over the place and throwing people all over the place, including the scene, as I pointed out to you. He has the guy and then he breaks his neck because you hear the crunch.
Yeah, you hear the crunch, and throws against the wall, and the dude's hands go up.
Yeah,
like he would be dead.
If you were dead and you're throwing against the wall, you're just going to hit a wall. But this guy put his hands up before he hit the wall, so obviously the actor wasn't dead. But great CGI done on in Rogue One, at the end of Rogue One.
Yeah.
As they bleed those together. But
speaking of the Tantive 4, I found something out about it that was really sad.
Tell the people.
I apparently got destroyed in the Battle of Exegol. With Nien Nunb.
Nien Nunb was in it?
We lost Akbar in Last Jedi. Now we lost Nien Nunb in The Rise of Skywalker.
I love Nien
we didn't
Nunb.
even see him die, but it was said that he was...
I love Nien Nunb in episode 6 because he's with Lando and the Millennium Falcon. He's from Solus. And he's even greater in the bad lip readings. If you don't know what I'm talking about, you gotta watch the bad lip readings because Nien Nunb is brilliant in the bad lip readings. And so it's also on Tantive 4 that Leia is giving her message to Obi-Wan Kenobi. Help me, Obi-Wan Kenobi. You're my only hope. And then her dad catches her, right? Leia's dad catches her. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I was
Come
thinking
on
of
now.
her adopted father for 15 seconds. I was like,
no. Bail Organa was not on the Tantive 4.
No.
But she was on a diplomatic mission to Alderaan, right? And so she's captured and taken on board that Star Destroyer. And so we know that the next card that pops up is...
Oh.
Yes.
Help me, Obi-Wan Kenobi. You're
my only hope.
That became iconic.
After Luke Skywalker discovers that Obi-Wan Kenobi is the same old Ben Kenobi. What are the chances?
I know,
old Ben Kenobi, right?
He's like, I wonder if it's him. Like, of course.
Oh, that wizard's just a strange old man, right? Is that what he says? Wizard, he's just a
crazy old man.
Crazy old man. Yeah. Uncle Owen is just a crazy old man, and so. That he finds Ben Kenobi after R2-D2 runs away.
I know, he runs away. He's like...
Yeah, after Luke and his famous, but I was going to go into Tasha Station and pick up some power converters. Right? And Uncle Owen, how about that one? All that happens.
This R2 has been motivator.
Yes, and a real bargain, right?
Yes.
All the quotes. Until we find out that Luke is on the run for his life because they're looking for the droids. And
because they have the map.
These are not the droids you're looking for.
They have the plans for the Death Star.
Move along. And they go to...
The Mos Eisley Cantina.
Right? You'll never meet a more wretched hive of scum and villainy, right? We were watching this just the other night, and I had remarked, in the space of 5 minutes in this cantina, a guy gets his arm chopped off, and another guy gets killed by Han Solo. Greedo gets killed by Han Solo. So, and everybody's just kind of
a typical day in the Mos Eisley Cantina.
Just back to business, right? We'll just go
typical day.
Back to business. So some good kind of there's two big things in the Mos Eisley Cantina that are kind of a lot of different people have said a lot of different things about. Number one is when they're sitting down and talking about the Millennium Falcon, and he's like, "You never heard of the Millennium Falcon?" He's like, "No, should I have?" He said, "It's the ship that made the Kessel Run in 12 parsecs. Less than 12 parsecs. Now, here's the thing: parsecs are a distance or a measure of distance, not time. Parsecs are like millions of light years put together. And so literally what he's saying is, I made the Kessel Run in less than 12 miles, or less than 12. So it's a distance, not a time. He should have said, I made it in less than 12,
whatever their time is.
What time, but he said parsecs. Parsecs are a scientific term. They are a real thing, but they
are... he just did it without even knowing what
I don't know. George Lucas has kind of danced around it and said that parsecs means something different in Star Wars, Star Wars universe, so he saved himself there. But parsecs are a measure of distance, not a measure of time. It's impossible to do something in a measure of distance. You have to do it in time. So
yeah, because you couldn't move the planets. So you can't do it in a matter of miles.
And then there is the contentious issue between Han Solo and Greedo.
Oh, who shot first?
I don't know. Han or who shot first? Was it Han? Was it Greedo? Now, I have watched this scene probably 100 times.
Just trying to figure out who it was.
And if you watch one version, Han shot first. If you watch another version, the one on Disney Plus, Greedo shoots first. right? Greedo also misses Han Solo from about 4 feet away.
Yeah.
Right?
It's like over here, and he's like right here.
I think Greedo was once a stormtrooper.
Yeah, I think he was too. That's confirmed.
He completely missed Han Solo, and Han Solo, unable to unlatch his gun.
He's like unlatching the gun.
And
like when you hear
him.
that,
yeah.
Here, unlatching, you'd be like.
Greedo was too busy listening to the sound of his own voice because there was a.
I've been waiting for this day for a long time.
Yes. So over my dead body.
Pew.
Yeah. Right. That's the idea. Sorry about the mess.
Yeah, and he tosses him.
So within the space of 5 minutes, right after the guy gets his arm chopped off.
Which also about the arm getting chopped off, his arm bleeds.
His arm does bleed.
But if it was cut off by a lightsaber, it would not because technically, it would close your.
And that lightsaber was that Obi-Wan's lightsaber? Okay, and we know that it did a lot of damage, and in other movies, but yeah, lightsabers are supposed to cut,
and because Luke's hand didn't gush out with blood when it was cut off, or
that's right.
Anakin's arm, or
But you know what? Stabbed. We love Star Wars anyway, so that's okay. All right,
who makes sense of those little.
The next card is called the Trash Compactor. That's after they rescue Princess Leia. They
go
right? This is some kind of rescue operation you got here as they get thrown in the trash compactor and they're dying.
They're dying.
R2, right?
R2.
Now, I really like A New Hope. It's a great movie, but I thought this scene was entirely too long.
It was.
It was a long. You'd think that if you were a technological terror, as Darth Vader calls it, right? If the Death Star was a technological terror, you'd be able to compact trash quicker than that.
I know, it's like...
it literally is like... And then, they cut away for, 5 minutes, and then it's here.
It's like...
What? Huh?
You think it would go...
Yeah, immediately. You can explode entire planets like that, but it takes you 20 minutes.
20 minutes to even
compact trash. But I feel like all we're doing is bagging on Star Wars. However, all I'm saying is that you'd think that the Death Star could destroy some trash quicker than that. Right? You can vaporize planets, but you can't compact trash. Technological terror? I think not. And I think Darth Vader would agree with me as he'd said that to the Grand Moff Tarkin. Your technological terror is no match for the power of the Force. So, we get to the rescue of Han and Chewie and...
Well, really of Leia, and then they have to...
Han, Chewie, and Luke save Leia, but then they all four are saved.
Yeah.
We also have the famous, get this walking carpet out of my way.
Get a walking carpet out of my way.
Embarrassing to Chewie, right? But, Chewie's going to save her anyway. And then we get to the famous showdown between Obi-Wan and
Darth Vader.
I am so glad that this is the first lightsaber duel we've seen of all time. This was the very first lightsaber duel in any of the Star Wars movies, right? If this was not the first one and we'd had others, this would be an underwhelming... this looked like two geriatric, 80-year-olds swinging wiffle ball bats at each other. It really didn't look like much of a battle.
Do you have the original trilogy, Empire Strikes Back is better, and then we have Return of the Jedi, which has more acrobat, he does flipping, and then you have the prequels, which are just.
But Luke even is flipping around on Bespin in Empire Strikes Back and hanging on to hoses. And
it's definitely a lot better.
This was just two guys flat-footed. It looked like a I've seen more movement in a fencing match in the Olympics, but I'm not ripping on Star Wars. I'm just saying you can see how it evolves.
Yeah.
And that's good because George Lucas never wanted to stick to one scheme. He wanted to change up so much so that by the time we get Qui-Gon Jinn and Obi-Wan Kenobi in Phantom Menace, there's different fighting styles. You've got Dooku holding his above his head. You've got two with Darth Maul, and so it's really interesting to see how the lightsaber duels evolved over time. The lightsaber duel at the end of Phantom Menace compared to this.
This is
this compared to the end of Empire Strikes Back.
I know.
That one was incredible. But then like Return of the Jedi had one as well, you know, but and Luke just going like crazy at the end, just swinging and swinging and swinging.
Darth Vader.
But by the time we get to Phantom Menace, like lightsaber duels,
and Revenge of the Sith has like a 15-minute long battle between Anakin and Obi-Wan.
Yeah, Dooku
has a lot of choreography. Yeah. Like that's a lot of choreography.
So yeah, they didn't invest a lot of money in the choreography, I guess, in this. It was just more like strike me down and I will become more powerful than you can ever imagine. Dead. Right? And Obi-Wan becomes a Force ghost.
It's crazy, like, because Anakin and Obi-Wan in Revenge of the Sith were fighting like this, and then I hope they're just like,
There's, you know, and finally, like, he just is like, okay, I'm dead.
I'm dead.
And the question is did Darth Vader strike him down, or did he, like, surrender himself like Yoda did?
Yeah, I would say he surrendered himself because he
Let's say he did, because no one wants to see Obi-Wan killed, right? No. All right, and so they get off. They get the plans, right, to destroy the Death Star.
They start,
and we do know from Rogue One that the plans were uploaded to them from Scarif by Jyn Erso and Cassian Andor on the top of that tower. Yes. And they get the plans, and they realize that Galen Erso has put an exhaust port.
A weakness in the weapon. Yeah. So then they can...
And so nobody can hit the target, right? Everybody keeps getting blown up or exploded or destroyed until Luke says, "Oh, it's no big deal. I can shoot that. That's no bigger than, what is it called, a Womp Rat?"
Oh, T6.
I can't. I used to blast Womp Rats in my T16 back on Tatooine, or Tatooine, as sometimes they call it. But finally, we know that Luke
blows it up.
Blows up the Death Star.
And like no one, like they almost got it, but it hit
and
like this.
No one is on the Death Star, or everyone's on the Death Star but Darth Vader. Thankfully, I guess the Empire has people like stormtroopers stationed elsewhere because they were.
I'm gonna guess they probably have a bunch of
who were on the Death Star, but and then that's the famous quote from.
Luckily, Darth Vader wasn't on the Death Star. Luckily, but like
I know we wouldn't have much of a story.
Yeah, no, I say it would be over. We would have the Emperor, but that's it.
So we have the famous quote from Han Solo, "Great shot, kid. That was 1 in a million." Yeah. And so that's when Luke rides off into the sunset, and then they all meet back up, and they get their medals at the end, except for
Chewie.
Chewie doesn't get a medal. Come on, what you got against Wookiees, Leia? I know he's a walking carpet, but come on.
People say, like, when he growls at the end, he's like, "What about me?"
Oh, is that what he's saying? I always thought he was saying the end.
I mean, he could be.
Kashyyykian or Kazukian or whatever the language is. I can't remember. Now, that's a beautiful segue, talking of Kashyyykian growls and right? Because this came out in May of 77, and in December of 78, George Lucas, well, actually, that's the next summer, he was really quick. He wants to jump on the Star Wars hype train, and so he commissions a group of writers to create a Star Wars special that was to air right around Thanksgiving time in 1978, right before I was born. So I wasn't alive to see this on TV, but you and I have watched this. There's a pretty good copy of it on YouTube.
It's hard to get through,
and that is the Star Wars Holiday Special. Now, we don't have any cards for the Star Wars Holiday Special.
We don't. It wasn't in there.
I don't think it was in it because the next ones are the next movie. So no even Topps wrote it out of Star Wars. You know, everybody thinks the sequels were bad, which I don't think. But the Star Wars Holiday Special was rough to get through. It took us like 3 days
because there's so many musical numbers. Like there's musical numbers, and it's like this is
like a weird like. Okay, so after anyway, we're not gonna run down the whole thing for you because we're already at the 19-minute mark, and I will say thanks for everybody who's been watching this. We've gotten a lot of great comments from people through texts, through emails, through just people that we talk to that we know that have been watching this, and have said like we really enjoy watching this, and so we appreciate you watching our show and letting us talk about all things Star Wars. Okay, got that off of my. got that little thing. Oh, and also check out South Atlanta Wrestling. We are part of the South Atlanta Wrestling Network, and we'll put a logo up right here. Boop. Then check Armadillo Dave out and South Atlanta Wrestling. So check them out. It's a great site of all things cool, not just wrestling, but also vintage, baseball cards, nostalgia, action figures, all kinds of cool stuff. Even food reviews, which his food reviews and restaurant reviews are incredible. Okay, back to something that wasn't incredible. The Star Wars Holiday Special. It was the story of Han and Chewie trying to get back to Kashyyyk to celebrate
Life Day.
Life Day.
Which is like the Star Wars Christmas.
Yes, and he's trying to get back home to his father,
and
Itchy,
wife,
and wife
son.
Mala, and son Lumpy. Mala, Lumpy, and Itchy.
I didn't even know Chewbacca had a family.
Yeah, but the whole first 15 minutes of this thing is just them growling at each other in Kashyykian with zero subtitles. Like
you don't know what's going on. No, like it's just like
you have to figure it out because like the grandpa's like growling at the kid, and the kid's like running away, scared, and like
she's trying to cook,
but he's like trying to sneak food, and then like finally they're like, okay, we're tired of this little like runt bothering us while we're waiting for Chewie to get home, so watch this Cirque du Soleil act. And so they got like these horns, and it's like this little thing on a table, and it's just awful.
It's awful. Horrible. And then this dude brings some presents, and there's this weird.
There's a trader comes and brings them like presents, and then Luke shows up on like a screen, and like heavy makeup. Luke.
Oh, I don't know why he looked like that.
He looked like Dorothy Hamill instead of Mark Hamill, but it was just. Yeah,
I remember when I heard they were announcing that they were making that Lego one. I was like,
yeah, the Lego one was great. But the Star Wars Holiday Special had B. Arthur in it. She was like a bartender, and she poured the drink in the guy's head. And then she sang a song. There was a lot of singing. And a lot of singing.
Nope.
The Boba Fett cartoon was pretty cool.
Yeah, then
Boba Fett got a little bit deeper into Boba Fett.
I hadn't seen Boba Fett. Then
you didn't,
yeah,
we hadn't, I guess.
Didn't see him.
Was he not in the cantina or anything like that? He was in Best.
Okay,
all right, okay. So there's always that. But like it's just bad, and the ending is. I'm not going to ruin it for you because I want you to go watch it. But the ending is absolutely
anticlimactic,
ridiculous.
It's like. Seriously?
And the rumor is that Harrison Ford didn't even want to do it.
I wouldn't want to do it.
And if you watch it, it's funny because any of the scenes that Harrison Ford's in, like you can tell like it's the last place on earth he wants to be. He's not just being like he's trying to get Chewie home for Life Day, but then like he gets him there and like you can just tell like Harrison Ford does not want to be.
And I understand that 100%.
And then the very end. The worst wasn't even the acting end of it. The worst was Carrie Fisher singing the Life Day song to the
Star Wars theme. What?
It was a train wreck. It's like an eclipse, right? You're not supposed to stare at it, but you're supposed to look away from it. I couldn't look away. I mean, I just had to keep staring and like thinking. It's got to get better.
I know.
You kept looking at me saying, it's got to get better.
It has to get better.
It's got to get better.
Because the ending always gets a bit better, but that was not the case when it came to this.
It was terrible. Terrible. But it's part of Star Wars, so you got to watch it for what it is.
If you could say any positive thing about it, if one thing that you maybe even
You're falling off camera. Scoot over.
Slightly enjoyed about it, what would it be?
What would it be?
That's hard.
That's really hard. That one guy was pretty funny, but I can't remember his name.
Who?
I don't know. There was a guy who was funny, but
wow.
the guy who came and traded.
Oh,
he just kind of was like a wisecracking guy. He was kind of funny. I can't remember what his name was, but that was about all you could say. And I think there was this big push to do the Star Wars thing. Like they made so much push for the toys, and then they didn't even have enough toys, so parents had to get like a cardboard thing that like you'd wrap and put under the tree that said like it's coming, but we don't have it yet because they ran out of toys. So you could go and buy like
because it was like you saw the film, you're like, oh my gosh,
everybody
toys,
wanted it, right? So everybody wanted the toys. So you could buy like this action figure set of like 8 or 10 of the figures, but they didn't make enough of them. So the toy store started selling just cardboard cutouts and said, and so that's what you got under the tree that year in 1978 was.
That would have been.
Yeah. So it was like, that was a letdown. The holiday special was a letdown. But I'll tell you what wasn't a letdown. And that was in just 2 years later, in 1980, the next installment.
Empire Strikes Back.
Yes, and Star Wars did strike back against the holiday special and George Lucas and company.
If Empire Strikes Back did not succeed, it would not be popular today at all.
So we'll get to that in the next show, episode 5. We'll cover Empire Strikes Back. And so stick around, or not today, but we will be posting another video in the next couple of days about The Empire Strikes Back. But until then, I hope you've enjoyed our little take on
26 minutes.
A New Hope. 26 minutes we see right there. So if you stuck around with us that long, then thanks. And this, hopefully this 26 minutes is better served than 26 minutes of the holiday special.
Yeah.
Unless you like B. Arthur or weird.
And if you like the Star Wars holiday special, good for you.
Yeah.
I mean,
then at
least there's someone out there.
Applaud you, sir or madam, enjoying the holiday special. But I don't. Anyway, thanks a lot. And we will see you soon. And until then, may the Force be with you.